this video shall reach the ones it's meant to reach. So if this video reached you, if you found this video, then it's meant for you. It's meant to be the sign you've been waiting for. If you're watching this video, then chances are you've been waiting long enough. You've been waiting for your manifestations, for your dream life, for your dream reality long enough, and you've tried one way after another. You've tried many different ways since you first awakened to that purpose, to that new meaning, to that fulfilling life, but you more often than not manage to manifest the exact opposite of what you're trying to actually create with your reality. So you've tried, perhaps you've had sleepless nights, you tried to readapt your mind, your actions, your habits to suit your new reality. You tried to apply discipline, you tried to raise your vibration, your frequency, and align emotionally, internally with that reality. But nonetheless, it keeps manifesting. You keep manifesting the opposite of what you actually want happening with that thing. Because there's one thing you haven't tried yet. And you've been trying all of these methods. You've been trying this way or that way, or this method or this technique, or all of those things, because you're meant for more. You know that you're worth more. You've awakened. Ever since you've awakened to that understanding, you've awakened to this ceaseless thought or belief that you've been called for more. And ever since you've been called for that more, you could not stop. You haven't been able to stop, and you've been trying this or that, but nothing is working out. You don't know what you're missing. You can't piece together all of the pieces. You can't put them together, and you don't know why. What's missing? What am I doing wrong? How do I get this dream reality? How do I claim this fulfilling life? And you've been stuck, not knowing what you've been doing wrong, not knowing what's been going wrong, because the one thing you did not try yet is to stop caring. And hear me out on this, because this is very real. For years now, year after year, I've realized that whenever I'm trying to manifest something, it only manifests when I reach a state in which I stop caring about whether it actually manifests or not. You reach to a state in which you are not attached to the outcome. You detached from that thing. I'm not telling you to divert your attention from it, to completely give up on it. I'm just saying that you stop caring that much about it. Because the more you care about something, the more you're desperate for something, the more you're in need of that thing to feel good, to feel fulfilled, the more dependent you are on that thing, the more you push it away, actually. But the ego doesn't see that. The ego is so afraid that if it stops caring about that thing, it would be as if it's rejecting it, as if it's giving up on it. So it keeps caring and caring, because it's afraid if you detach from it, then you're saying that you don't want it, because it does not know. But the more you care about it, the more you attach your value, your self-worth. Perhaps you've even been, oh, there's a puppy. I don't know if, hi. Oh, here he is. It doesn't know that if the more you actually care about it, the more you push it away. Ah, here he is. But yeah, it's similar, to the concept of paralysis by analysis. The more you analyze something, the more you give thought to something, the more you care, and you keep trying to figure out exactly how do I have that thing desperately. You're trying to cling onto that thing. You actually get so paralyzed by the amount of analysis, by the amount of thoughts you have, that you give up doing anything about it. That you feel so stuck, that you get so overwhelmed, and you don't know what to do any longer because it's too many things. So you stop, so you give up on it altogether. It's also similar to when you cling on someone, and the more you make someone feel that your life depends on them, that your happiness depends on them, you're suffocating them, and you eventually push them away bit by bit. But when you're self-sufficient, when you're content within yourself, and when you're fulfilled, when you're able to be meaningful, to find meaning, when less becomes fulfilling to you, then less becomes more. Because no matter what you have or don't have, you're able to feel good. You're able to feel as if you have everything you want. You're able to feel good. So less becomes actually more. And that's the key. Similarly with this thing here, what you fear, you end up using as a coping mechanism. If you're living in fear of something happening, you actually adapt, you actually build a coping mechanism, develop a coping mechanism that seeks to indulge in the extreme versions of those things in order to stop being in fear of them. Like if you can hurt yourself more, then you're not afraid of whatever can hurt you. And you go on for years in cycles, self-sabotaging, and you don't know why. It's just your thing. It just feels good. It feels relief. It feels relieving. It feels like a solution. It makes you feel calmer. And so similarly, when you are in desperate need of something, the more you put something on a pedestal, the more it's actually gonna get further away from you, because you're only at a vibrational alignment. Because all that really matters is the energy. What's your frequency? What's your vibrating? What are you vibrating on? What are you aligned with energetically? And so the more you are in desperate need of something, the more you cling onto something, you're so desperate, you're so attached to the outcome, you're postponing your whole life until that thing happens. You're saying, oh, I'm gonna feel good when that thing happens, I'm gonna hang out when that thing happens, I'm gonna do this thing or that thing only after I become that version, only after I have that life. Because most things stop having real meaning after, and the only meaningful thing is your dream reality, is that fulfilling life, you're gonna have, that you're deserving of. And so you put everything else away until you have that. And that is so much attachment. That is so much negative energy. Now, you have to keep your attention on that thing, because that's how you're creating it. Don't just stop caring and give up and lose hope on that thing. Just stop caring, but keep giving it your attention. Keep giving, that version of yourself the same attention. Do the things you're meant to do. Be the version you're meant to be. Think this way, feel that way. But don't be so attached. Don't give it so much of your energy. Don't build that cord of energy that push it away rather than attract it. Because what happens is that you're only in energetic alignment with that thing when it stops being on a pedestal, when it gets lower, when you're feeling so effortless about it, when you're detached from it. Think about this, you're not so attached to drinking that glass of water, you're not attached to having that first meal, you're not so desperate thinking about the outcome all the time, and you're so attached to the outcome, or how's it gonna happen, how am I gonna eat, because it's effortless. It's part of your vibrational alignment. You're aligned with it already, so you don't have to worry about it. You're just doing the things. You still give it attention. You're still giving attention to, your TV show, or your work, or your food, your meals, your drinking. You're giving it attention. You're thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. Okay, in order to be healthy, I'll drink water often. But you're not so attached that you're in fear for your life if you don't do it, if it doesn't happen. That's why it's effortless. And so you only reach a vibration and an energetic alignment with that thing when you stop caring, when you're detached from the outcome, when you don't care whether it happens or not. because that's when you actually reach its frequency. That's when you know, it's gonna happen one way or another. So I don't have to care. I don't have to bother all that much. I don't have to be desperate. I don't have to keep on trying one way after another. And that's the next thing. The ego wants you to keep on trying because the ego is obsessed with control. The ego wants to claim everything for itself. You've awakened to this calling, you've been called for something more, and the ego wants to claim it. It wants to tell you, it wants you to think that the only way there is to physically, using your 3D, actually have that thing, claim that thing, fight for that thing, suffer for that thing. And that makes you all the more desperate, and that builds repelling energies, and you end up pushing it further away because the ego doesn't know that. You know, it's just like saying that when you had your spiritual awakening and, you know, the ego wants to claim it. It wants to make it all about the 3D, all about the physical. Yeah, spirituality is to, you know, be disciplined. Spirituality is to do this or that. Spirituality is to eat healthy. Spirituality is to go vegan. You know, that's the same thing, and it's supposed to be spiritual awakening. So you could see the irony of the ego trying to claim everything for itself, for the 3D, for your physical aspect, and merely for that aspect of yourself, because it does not know that the thing you've been called for, that dream reality, that fulfilling life is your birthright. It's something that you're gonna have one way or another. Is only gonna happen when you give your obsession to controlling it, because you're handing. Only then would you open yourself for it. Only then would you tell the universe, yes, I'm ready. Because as long as you're desperately clinging onto it, you're not ready. You're still at this point, and it's at that point. Otherwise, you wouldn't be so desperate for it. And that's when you hand over the steering wheel to the universe, to life, to God, to source, to your higher self, and understand and send a powerful signal that you are claiming this reality, that reality is now yours. So you hand over the steering wheel and you acknowledge to yourself that you are that version. You have done everything that you need to do as a physical 3D aspect, and so the rest hangs on the universe. The rest hangs on to this infinite energy, and it's gonna happen because you've been called for it, for that life. And only then will it happen. But will the ego be able to surrender that obsession with control over that aspect? Because it wants it. You want it, and it knows that you want it, and it knows that it's gonna be pleasurable, but it doesn't know how to get it. And the way it gets it, the thing you haven't tried, the one thing you haven't tried yet, is to really detach yourself. Because over the years, I found that this is the only things that end up manifesting in my reality, are those things which I end up giving up, you know, control with the things that I detach from. Eventually, when I detach from the outcome of that thing or this thing, it happens. Because that's when I actually stop resonating with it, with its lack from my life. That's when I actually stop vibrating on the lack of that thing in my life, and I start actually aligning with its presence. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, you lovely infinite beings, to another video by AfsConsciousFrequency on this beautiful day. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, because it helps me so much, and it helps this video find its way to many more others who might actually need it, just like it reached you.